Hello everyone, I'm Audius Wolf. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, and as promised, today we will be going through at least some of the role quests. Probably not all of them, but some of them. We have 5 in total to go through, one for each of the class types: tank, healer, melee, physical ranged, and magical ranged. I'm going to start with healer because it is the only one of these role quests that I have done before, so you guys get to see my first time reactions to all the other ones. It's gonna be great. Anyway, let's go. If you're ready to lend us your aid, I'll apprise you of the situation. We received reports of a creature believed to be a Blasphemy stalking the streets of Alamigo. Troops have been assigned to track and slay the beast, but there are likely to be casualties. With most of our healers posted elsewhere, we have thought to petition you for aid. I would be glad to help. Once again, we're in your debt. We shall inform Commander Alden forthwith. My comrades in the Immortal Flames will be glad to have you watching over them. You see, there's been no sightings of any blasphemies in our lands. We have joined our Alamigan allies in their hunt for the fiend. Trouble is, the majority of our own healers are working day and night to treat the tempered Imperials captured at Pegothon. For that reason, we too will be glad of your aid. Your presence alone will be a great comfort to the troops, I'm sure. As time is of the essence, I ask that you make your way to the Alamigan quarter and report for duty. Commander Alden is overseeing the hunt, and he will explain all upon your arrival. May Rogger grant you strength. Alright. Let's head to the Alamigan quarter. Bubble bird away! Well, I'm going in the wrong direction. Whoops! Hello! Mistress Oro! We were told. Whoa, my voice. We were told you were on your way, but this is even quicker than expected. I'll tell Commander Alden you've arrived. One moment, please. Glad you could join us. Ralbon! I appreciate that we've got a far greater crisis to worry about, but we cannot afford to ignore the situation here either. I like nothing more than to hear about your recent adventures, but I'm afraid such pleasantries will have to wait. As our man in Thavnir will have told you, a blasphemy is loose in Alamigo. When it first appeared, the city guard were able to get most of the bystanders to safety, and for mercy, those caught in the chaos only suffered minor injuries. But the fiend managed to escape and has not been seen since. We must find it, and soon, for as long as it remains at large, every man, woman, and child is at risk. As was the case in Thavnir, the blasphemy's very existence seems to spur the creation of lesser beasts. The longer it is allowed to roam free, the more tragedy our people will suffer. Did anyone see the change take place? There are several eyewitnesses who gave the same account. A man walking through the Alamigan quarter fell to his knees all of a sudden, and a moment later transformed into the monstrosity we now pursue. But beyond the fact he was a young Highlander, we know next to nothing about him. Even the descriptions of his appearance are too vague to help identify the lad, and we've no clues as to his name or background. For all we know, he might not have been born in Alamigo. Might have been the son of refugees who came to visit. There are other possibilities we're investigating, though. That said, I doubt its circumstances are unique. Blasphemies and beasts are born with men overcome by despair. Whatever drove him to turn likely could have done the same to another. Therefore, if we are to prevent future tragedies, it is imperative that we identify and address the underlying cause. Until we do, we'll have no choice but to deal with the afflicted the only way we know how, by granting them a quick death. For now, I would have you join the hunt to keep my men from falling to prey to these creatures. Are you up to it? Naturally. You have my thanks. And as chance would have it, we've just received word that a number of beasts were spotted on the outskirts of Alagana. The troops stationed there have already put them down, but were wounded in the process. First and foremost, they need medical attention, and that's where you come in. I'll meet you there. Well, I mean, I am a healer. Thus, it is my job to heal. This way. Excuse you? I asked for a mount. Thank you. Whee! Just behind this rock. Of course, it would help if my keyboard decided to work. Hello, Ravan. Although the soldiers were able to lead the beasts away from the village and killed a lot of them, victory did not come easily. It seems like these are... It's times like these that our lack of healers is most sorely felt. I dare say they've yet to receive any treatment at all. See to the wounds while I survey the area for any stragglers that may have escaped. Once I've completed my patrol, I'll head to the village to gather eyewitness reports. Look for me thereafter. Okie doke. I saw them change, right before my eyes. Those were monsters I killed, but innocent men. But it had to be done. There were others we had to protect. And thanks to you, I can continue to do just that. Once I've made my way back, I'll give a full account. The families, though, they'll understand. And until you... Gods be good, I feel reborn. Hold on, you're Kaharu, aren't you? I can't believe it! You're the one who inspired me to join the Resistance in the first place. I know you've come to save me in my hour of need. I'll never forget this. Thank you, thank you. Alright, where is Ravan? Ravan, where are you? There you are. For treating the wounds of those soldiers, you have my thanks. And there's two, no doubt. It seems they were indeed successful in slaying the beasts, if my search is any indication, but we must remain vigilant. I've also spoken with several people who witnessed the moment of the transformation, though the ordeal has understandably left them rather shaken. I hear you've been through a fair few ordeals yourself, Kaharu. You have no idea. As for me, I've been kept busy with this and that, like getting the hang of this wheelchair. Obviously, it has its limitations, but it gets me where I need to go. I've been working with this new organization as well, which is what brought me here, but no sooner had I arrived than the locals turned. Regenfrid, I heard you were there when it happened. What else can you tell us? The ones who underwent the change, they were the very people we were trying to help. Okay. Perhaps I should explain from the beginning. Yes, that might indeed be useful, thank you. The meeting they held in the royal palace marked a turning point for all of Garabanya. It spurred us to open a dialogue with peoples and communities we otherwise would have shunned. But there's still so many problems to be addressed and countless souls struggling to build new lives for themselves. I decided to form a volunteer group, the Silver Griffins. Our main concern is the welfare of Alamegans who sided with the Empire, for whatever reason, and helping them find their place in society. In particular, the surviving families of the Crania Lupi. You've changed your tune. Make no mistake, I've not forgiven them. I don't have that in me, and I doubt I ever will. But the memory of that day in the palace, of Fordola asking to be locked up again after saving us all, it stayed with me. Got me thinking about why she and the other youths would commit such atrocities. Why'd they swear to serve the Empire? And the answer was simple. Because they'd seen what we'd seen and suffered much the same. In a hell where all were condemned, they chose to betray one brother to save another. That's how the Garleans win. Not by breaking you, but by making you break yourself. By making that choice the right one for a man at the end of his tether. Healing only begins with liberation, and some scars will never will regardless. Those who have returned from foreign lands may have difficulty carving out a living here, but the ones who pledged allegiance to Garlemald. This is not the Alamigo we dreamed of, but after 20 years of misery, I'll not see it all thrown away because we can't come to terms with the past. That's why I formed the Silver Griffins, to see no one is cast aside. It's a cause I support, and it's what brought me here today. I've been acting as a mediator. Aye, and in the short time he's been with us, he's proven himself a natural. But despite our early successes, the families of the Skulls continue to refuse our help. I think I see where this is leading. They're the ones who turned, yes? It comes as no surprise. The kin tormented and murdered fellow Alamegans. Anyone with a conscience would feel shame and guilt, and for some, it may be too much to bear. I think I know why they're turning us away. It's a sensitive matter though, so let's go somewhere we won't be overheard. It's about one of the men who turned. I saw his memories. With the echo. I'll not pretend I understand it, but tell us what you learned. I only caught a glimpse, but that was enough. It was during the occupation, a man raising his son. Only the two of them, but they were a family. To keep his boy clothed and fed, he chose to side with the Empire. He knew what others would say, but he did it anyway. And so he was branded a traitor. Every day his son listened to the jeering, the insults, but there was nothing he could do. When he came of age, he turned to the Skulls and in the hope it would make life easier for his father. He never dared to question his orders, no matter how depraved. He died in the revolution, but not before killing his own countrymen. His father wept not for the betrayer and murderer, but for the man he could have been. He blamed it all on himself, right up until the change took him. I can only pray he and his boy have finally found the peace that they were denied in life. Alas, theirs is an all too familiar tale. They cannot forgive themselves, nor can they see how anyone else could. The sins of their kin weigh heavy on them. They think themselves undeserving of our compassion. If they carry on like that, they'll turn into beasts. We've got to help them before it's too late. Growing up half Garlian and Alamigo, I know how it feels to be shunned and hated, to hate myself. But so long as we give ourselves and others a chance, we can change for the better. And while I might not be as clever or eloquent as someone like Alphino, I know I can make a difference. I might not be quite the swordsman I used to be, but I'm still a fighter at heart. And I owe it to Abaya and Ali to make the most of this life so long as I've got it. We Silver Griffins will give our all to see that no more beasts or blasphemies ravage Garabania again. So, Commander Alden, do we have your approval to continue our work? Of course, there's no enemy more formidable than despair, and I'd be a fool to refuse your help. That even a single one of our people has succumbed to this transformation is proof of our failure to protect them. Therefore, I pledge to the Silver Griffins my unconditional support. Together, we will prevail. Now that we have Kaharu on hand to aid the troops, I believe we are ready to face any beasts we encounter. Though I fear it is only a matter of time before others appear, I ask that you lend the Griffins your assistance in the meantime. Very good. For now, let's return to the city. Back to the Alamini border. Go, Chocobo, go! Those who harbor guilt do so not because they are weak of heart, but because they have failed to meet the demands they make of themselves. 'Twas the same for me when I believed that my failures had led to the Sultana's assassination. The despair and self-loathing were indescribable. I was fortunate that you and the other Scions came to my rescue, that I had friends who convinced me I was more than some of my worst mistakes. Now we must do the same for the people of Alamigo. We must help them to heal and find the strength to. If not forgive, then come to terms with who we were so that we can look to who we can be, who we should aspire to be. This is precisely why the work of the Silver Griffins is so vital. Though our problems are not new, the emergence of this deadly phenomenon means we cannot afford to delay addressing them any longer. We will be better for it ultimately. I can words! Once we decide a course of action, you'll be the first to know. Until then, may Ralga watch over and keep you. We're hoping you'd stop by. I'll show you to Commander Alden at once. You're welcome side as always, Kaharu. Aye, and a lot's happened since we last spoke. We Silver Griffins have been keeping busy. As have I and my men, but I'm afraid we've little to show for our efforts. Although we've been searching high and low for the Blasphemy, we've seen neither hide nor hair of it. Unfortunately, everyone else has had better luck. We've received reports of lesser beasts throughout Garabania, and putting them down is as important as hunting the Blasphemy that got away. To complicate matters, rumors have been circulating that these beasts were the Skull's kin. While this was true of the recent incident in Elegana, we cannot have people jumping to conclusions, given what they may feel tempted to do. It has been suggested that we take these individuals into custody for their own protection as much as the safety of others, but that would only isolate them even further and give credence to the rumors. The recent unrest has hindered the efforts of the Silver Griffins to no end. Therefore, I ask that you aid them in their endeavors, and see if there is aught that can be done. Also, you'll be joined by another volunteer. Try not to be too surprised. I thought I felt my ears burning. Fordola! I said I don't need a keeper, but did they bloody listen? Did they bollocks? Come on, don't be like that. This is what we agreed to. Besides, you never know when you might have need of a healer, and there's none better than Kaharu. He's right. You've earned a measure of trust, and this shouldn't be taken to mean otherwise. Thick as thieves, are we now? Then there's no need for this sodding color, eh? We all know it's not coming off anytime soon. But if this is how it's to be, then fine, so long as she keeps out of my way. It's nice to see you too, Fordola. I want the two of you to visit the Silver Griffin's headquarters in Alagana. Several relatives of the Crania Lupi have agreed to meet with them, and we could do with a measure of precaution. If anyone so much as mentions the skulls, I'll deal with it. Understood? Let's get this over with. She's as much at risk. She's as much at risk of turning as anyone, maybe even more so. You don't need the Echo to see the weight she's carrying. She's still not got a handle on her own Echo either. Sometimes the visions come without warning, and with such a force, that's all she can do to stay standing. There's no telling what might happen when she comes face to face with the family of her former comrades. So look out for her, please. I wish there was more I could do for her myself. But we've all got our own duties, and I'll see them through to the end. So must we all. Follow Fedorla's lead. We're counting on you both, but be ready to step in, even if she curses you for it. Back to Alagana. This way. I had a feeling Raoul would send you Kaharu, but as for her... If you got any complaints, take it up with the commander. No, it's fine. Truth be told, but ever since that day at the Royal Palace, I've been thinking. Stop. You don't want to say it, and I don't want to hear it. To the matter at hand, then. We Silver Griffins have been working to support the relatives of the Crania Lupi. But one family has gone missing. A mother and her parents, who lived together under the same roof. One of ours paid them a visit, but they were nowhere to be seen. And when they went inside to check, they found the house had been torn to shreds. The gouges in the floor and the walls, made by a beast's claws by the looks of them. You'd think they've turned. Aye, that's the most likely explanation. Please, do what you must before anyone else is hurt. There's no time to waste. I'll head west, you east. Well, it's a good thing I can fly here. Up the waterfall! Oh, there it is. Well, it's down. Ooh, letter. In the dirt you spy an envelope containing a crumpled, tear-stained letter. Dear Mother, I hope this letter finds you well. Time is short, and so I must keep this brief. Although I have never done anything to make you proud, I promise you things will be different when the war is over. Until then, take care, and know that I love you with all my heart. Placing the letter back into its envelope, you turn your attention to finding the others. By the river. Somewhere. Oh. Where are you? Sparkle? Sparkle. Hello, Lightning Spray. How are you? Don't mind me, I'm just attacking a Blasphemy. Oh, down it goes. A wedding ring? You discover what appears to be a wedding ring, with the name and date engraved on the inside. With seemingly no more clues to be found, you decide to report to Regenfried. Here we are. Were you able to find anything? I found this and this. Then it is as we feared. I found and killed a third. It was carrying this. A matching ring. I'll deliver these effects to the next of kin and arrange for a funeral, or as close to one as possible under the circumstances. There's no changing the past. We'll always carry it, and the scars. But no matter who we were or what we did, we're Alamegans, then and now. The Empire was our enemy then, and now it's despair. Good words and deeds will serve us best in this fight. Weapons that even an old man like me can yet wield. Thanks to the two of you, the missing villages may finally be laid to rest. I and the other Scylla Griffins will redouble our efforts to prevent any further tragedies. I finished checking the wares, sir. Everything's in order. Good work. Take a rest, lad. You've more than earned it. Keep this to yourselves, but Everett's younger brother was a member of the Crania Lupi. He's exactly the sort of person we're trying to help. Like many of the others, he was reluctant to talk to us at first, but after we'd gained his trust, we were able to help him find work. He's taken to it well. It's her! The butcher! Oh no. Oh honey, no. Traitors, all of us, kinslayers, deserving of hate and death. Hate and death. Get back! Get back! Stay away from her! Fordilla saved your girl's life. I know, but she's... Oh, Fordilla. It happened in an instant. That poor lad. But it had to be done, and without hesitation. It would have been much worse otherwise. Could you go out to Fordilla and see to her wounds? I'll do what I can here. Away! Alright, where'd you go, Fordilla? Oh, there you are. I'm fine. Leave me be. I said I don't need your help. I'm a healer. Let me do my job. God, you're like a dog with a bone. Go on then and make it quick. A curl has to change its spot. A curl can't change its spots, and there's no washing the blood off my hands. Nor would I, even if I could. Taking up Guardian Steel was the first choice, but not the last. Like the first kill, the hardest. Every choice after that became easier and easier, until I stopped counting, stopped caring. You tell yourself it's right. It's for the greater good. You give the order, feel the ground tremble as the cannon fires, and when the dust settles, and your own men are buried beneath the rubble, and you tell yourself. Me too. Oh, Fordilla, stop it! You mustn't give in. That man in the village. I saw his past. I'm the one who killed his brother. I'll be alright. I just need a moment. Can you wait with me? Everything the Skulls fought for, the sacrifices we made, the things we did, in the end, it was all for nothing. Sometimes I look back on the road I walked and the bitterness I can still taste, and I wonder, if I had grown up in another time, another place, would I have done the same to a different people? Was it always in me? To be me? All I know is, everyone would have been better off if I'd never been born. But I was, and I dragged others into a hell of my own making. I remember these two brothers in particular, childhood friends of mine. The older one enlisted with me, but the younger... He would never have made it as a soldier. He was too kind, too good. Asvin died at Specula Imperatoris, but his brother is still out there somewhere. Now that I've got the courage to face him after what I did, I hope he's found the life he deserves. Not all of the Craniolupi at the towers died that day, though. I know from one of my visions that at least one survived. Rudolph. I'm glad he made it out, but too many others didn't. too many others still need our help. I helped to make this blasphemy, and by Rolgar, I'll kill the bastard if it's the last thing I do. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I'll be heading back to the city to make my report. I suggest you do likewise. Let's go turn in the quest. It does not land on a random roof, thank you. Welcome back. Fordola's already given her account, and I'd like to hear yours too. She almost turned into a beast herself. We'll have to take that into consideration before sending her into the field again. As far as the events in Alagana are concerned, the two of you did well. Despite the appearance of several beasts, you were able to prevent any further casualties. However, this serves to confirm that those with connections up to the Crania Lupi should be considered at risk of turning. Over the years, many of them have drifted away from the larger settlements and have taken to living in secret. Others made their way to Ul'dah as refugees, including some individuals of interest. As such, we'll be working closely with the Immortal Flames to locate and offer support to those refugees in particular. In fact, I plan to make the journey there for an audience with the Sultana. Once my preparations are complete, perhaps you might accompany me. I'm sure she'll be glad to see you. You see Commander Alden, I take it? This way, please. Our request for an audience with the Sultana has been accepted. Before we depart, I'll share what we've learned since we last spoke. The Blasphemy continues to elude us, all the while driving others to succumb to despair and turn. Even with Alamegan and Ul'dah forces searching for signs of the beast, and more potential victims, we're yet to discern a pattern in the chaos. Nevertheless, if our blasphemy is like others, its behavior is likely dictated by the passions and regrets of the man it once was. Therefore, any information concerning him and the life he led may help us track it down before it strikes again. We don't want people to shun the families of the Skulls any more than they already have, but the fact remains that the vast majority of the beasts have been born from them. They're the ones at greatest risk of turning, without question. Fordola concerns me too. She came close to transforming once before, so I think it might be best if we keep her out of this after all. She deserves a chance to make amends. I'm inclined to agree with Kaharu. She was able to resist the transformation and has shown no signs of succumbing since then. If she wants to do her part, I say we let her. If only I could go in her stead. Actually, I was hoping you'd come with us to meet the Sultana. I believe she would benefit greatly from your understanding of the struggles our people face. You gain from the experience too. While she's not the sort to brandish a sword and charge into battle, you'll soon discover she's a champion of her own arena, as brave as any warrior. I doubt you'd have much to learn from the likes of me, but it would be an honor to make her acquaintance. Emerald and I will go on ahead and wait for you in the Hudson Strip. We'll see you anon. Alright. Yeah, I just gotta go to the Chamber of Rule. chamber. Well, let's go. Whee! Away! Master Papashan was just telling us that Nanamo, or should I say Lady Lilira, has gone on another of her jaunts about the city. Though it is not my place to question her Grace's judgment, I do wish she had consulted me before running off on her own. And perhaps I'm overthinking it, but it's unlike her to keep guests waiting. If I may say so, sir, with blasphemies appearing throughout the land, it's a dangerous time to be going for a stroll. I suspect that may be the very reason. She wishes to see for herself how the citizenry fare in these trying times. Even so, it's downright reckless. We'll find her, though. No, I couldn't possibly allow such esteemed guests to... Come now, we might be here on official business, but we're old friends. And as you may remember, I have a knack for tracking down errant sultanas. Some might say that knack is a rather charitable... I should be glad of the assistance. Yes, that is indeed a seal, Baki. I'll take a look around here. Quizzing the locals will give me an opportunity to learn of recent goings-on in Oda. Well then, there's no time like the present. Fear not, with me on the case, this will be over before you know it. Yes, this is my seal. It is a good seal. Anyway, we got a sultana to find. Whee! Sapphire Avenue. That was terrible blocking. It's been some time since I last combed these streets for young Lilira. As a matter of fact, Papashan and I would compete to see which of us could find her first. As I recall, most of the contests ended in my favor. No! The trick, you see, is to look past the disguise and pay attention to the gestures and mannerisms. The tiniest movement that might give her away. Come, I'll show you how it's done. Hey, Raubon! I'm following Raubon. Is she now? I don't see her. Now that's a jumpy dude. Well, she's obviously not about she hasn't been abducted, Raubon. Raubon! Raubon, Nanamo can look after herself. It's fine. She's fine. That's odd. I've tried all her usual haunts, so unless she's hiding inside a barrel or something equally nonsensical, she must be elsewhere. God, why did she choose now of all times to run off? What if she's been abducted or run afoul of a beast? There's no need to assume the worst. We should keep looking. You're right, I know, but it's hard not to worry. Where could she be? Come to think of it, something Papa-chan said caught my ear. He thought Nanamo went on this excursion because of the emergence of the blasphemy and the beasts, to better understand how her people are coping with the situation. If so, she'd be driven to seek out the most desperate and destitute. Pearl Lane, then. Might I ask you to lead the way? I'll admit my ability to track missing persons may have dulled somewhat. Yeah, no kidding. Perlane has ever been plagued by pickpockets and the like. I'll watch your back, so go ahead and give the search for the Leaguer your full attention. Yay! I have a Ralbon following me. Oh, there's a few RPers about, Perlane. Not a lot, though. It's too early in the day for that. While it may not be immediately obvious, conditions here have improved considerably of late. Her Grace continues to support the rebuilding efforts in Garabania, which has led to the creation of jobs for many of the locals, both here and on the other side of Bilzo as well. Hey, that's nice. That's lovely. Oh, another thing. Okay. Okay, Brassblade. In every society, there are the haves and have-nots, and seldom is this divided more sorely felt than here in Ul'dah. Many of the young and able-bodied work for Lorito as guards, though he earns more in an afternoon than most will in a lifetime. Interesting. Where is the... There's the circle! There she is! No, Lady Lyra! Ralbon, whatever are you doing here? And Gaharu too! Well, I am glad to see you both. Our meeting is not yet due to commence for several bells. What is the meaning of this? We were worried, and with good reason. These are far too dangerous times to be roaming about alone, Your Grace. Some things never change, but I assure you I am quite capable of looking after myself in my own city of all places. More importantly, I wish to observe firsthand how the people have been faring of late, and I might be better prepared to participate in our discussion later. But I have finished. You'll be comforted to hear. Then pray allow us to escort you to more amenable surroundings. Would you care to ride on my shoulder? Certainly not. You have already attracted more than enough attention. Namo is grown up. Yeah, where did they go? Oh, up here. It was behind me the entire time. Over here. In here. And here we are. Ah, there she is, back in her normal garb. I thank you all for making the journey here during these difficult times. And it is my pleasure to properly make your acquaintance. On behalf of the people of Eorzea, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude for your continued dedication to our cause. With respect to your grace, I'm just a soldier. Was a soldier. Still, I say, Commander Alden will not make such a distinction, and neither will I. You yet serve your people and have provided solace to many of Alamigo's most vulnerable. If we are to deal with this threat, we must forearm ourselves with knowledge. I understand you come bearing information regarding the Blasphemy and its victims. We have indeed. Hence the need to locate families of the Crania Lupe members who have fled to the Handland. There's no end to the struggles faced by Alamican refugees, and those who once pledged allegiance to the Empire are no exception. But rest assured that irrespective of their past, all will be treated with an even hand. All will be afforded such aid as I am able to provide. Magnanimous as always, Your Grace. If I might be so bold, I have a question. What do you have in mind for those most at risk of undergoing the change? I believe there is but one recourse. Earnest and open dialogue. While some were born into unimaginable wealth, others suffer great hardship and oppression. The circumstances of our birth are beyond our control, our fate subject to the whims of the gods, some would argue. I once thought myself a prisoner to my fate, a figurehead, helpless to watch on as my people starved, a powerless puppet. I wanted nothing more than to cast all aside, to free us all, but failed for my naivety. And then was afforded a second chance for my privilege. The world is unfair, terribly so, but we have the power to push back against inequalities and injustices, if not overcome them on blessed occasions, to love our neighbor and share in life's bounties, to open our hearts and come together as one. Truer words have never been spoken. But without the support of the people, such words are not but vain platitudes. Thankfully, my recent attempts to make inroads with the monasteries have met with some success. Despite differing views on many subjects, we yet strive to find common ground. Common ground. And we've been pouring all our efforts into aiding families of the Crania Lupi, and while it seemed to help to a degree, some have still succumbed and turned. Of course, they're not the only ones in danger. Alamegans everywhere, whether they sided with the Empire, fought for the Resistance, or caught in the middle, they all suffered. They all wake up at night, in the night at times, haunted by memories of death and despair. We know what can happen if those feelings are left to fester. The legacy of the Imperial occupation will not soon be forgotten, and rather than seek to forget, mayhap it is necessary to remember, to acknowledge and accept the truth of it, that they may properly mourn those they have lost. Aye, a remembrance. I propose we hold a memorial ceremony for those who died during the war. Everyone, no matter who they were or what they did. Let them be loved, let them be hated, but above all, let them be remembered. And in the remembering of the dead, in their honor and their sin, we, the living of Alamigo, may yet find a sliver of common ground. It's a noble sentiment, but bringing together people who have a reason to distrust one another and risk inflaming tensions could be a recipe for disaster. Then again, we can't keep ignoring the myriad in the room and do nothing to address the situation. As long as we leave it to the individuals to decide whether or not to attend the ceremony, I think it's worth a try. Organizing an event of this scale will require a great deal of effort, so I offer my full support. Once you know what's needed, come to me, and we'll put the plan into action. Obviously, some will balk at the idea, which is perfectly understandable, so I'll be listening to their opinions as well. After all, we want to be a ceremony that brings Alamegans together. And I was wondering, Your Grace, if I might ask about your approach to, well, talking to people, winning them over. As you can tell, I'm no politician, so I'd be grateful for any advice you can share with me. I know, it's great! Why, I would be delighted to. As a matter of fact, I have a number of matters I wish to discuss with you. And on that note, I suggest you and I return to Alamigo. I know, the life of the Warrior of Light is, very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, exactly. Down we go. I knew Envel would make a good impression, but he's outdone himself. Not only has he found a new avenue in life to explore, he's taken it with considerable aplomb. And while his proposed memorial ceremony is bound to have its detractors, I have faith that many will come around. Not all, but enough, I pray. For our part, we must stand at the ready for whatever may occur. I shall send word if there are any developments. Nay, Arkaharu, Commander Alden has asked me to convey to you the following information. At present, we are looking into reports of missing relatives of the Crania Lupi, and with the cooperation of the Silver Griffins, we're currently searching for any clues as to their whereabouts. Thanks to the concerted efforts of Ragenfrid and the others, the general public has been willing to cooperate with our investigation. Though many still harbor feelings of distrust for the collaborators and their kin, they've grown more receptive to our cause on the whole. Everyone's making steady progress in preparing for the memorial ceremony. He plans to host a meeting between various community leaders to go over the finer details. In fact, he is wondering whether you could assist in delivering the invitations. If you can spare the time, you should be able to find him in the Mercantile District. Anyway, that's all for now. A few other matters to attend to, so if you'll excuse me, duty calls. Ah, hiccups. Over here. Ah! Thanks for coming. It would come as no surprise that planning a memorial ceremony for a whole bloody nation would keep a man busy. But by Velgar, this is something else. The hardest part's been gathering information on those who died in the war, especially when it comes to the skulls and other conscripts, and they're the ones we need to treat most carefully. If we don't acknowledge the crimes of our kin in all respective truth, then we do a disservice to their victims, living and dead. But if we let people paint them as monsters who did monstrous things we believe we would never do, then we perpetrate a different but no less dangerous lie. As for preparing the event itself, I'll be holding a meeting with members from each of the settlements around Girabanya. I've sent invitations to most of them already, but I was hoping you'd help me with the last two. There's Miraz Nun in the Peering Stones and Sashia in Vira Nilia. I'll give you one for each. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they refused, considering how the people suffered at the hands of the skulls. But I hope we can remind them that deep down, we're all just people trying to survive, to protect our loved ones. We may have driven the Empire from our lands, but as long as we hold fast to the grudges born of their attempts to divide and set us against one another, we'll never be free of their legacy of cruelty. With that in mind, I've included an account of my experiences with the Silver Griffins and the people I've met. Victims, collaborators, their friends, and their family. Men and women who lived through it all. Survivors. Even if they refuse to join the ceremony, at least they'll know, and hopefully understand, our reasons for holding the event. Granted, I've not had much practice in writing important letters, but I think they'll get the message. You being the one to deliver them will make a world of difference, I'm sure. Take care, won't you? Okay, so we gotta teleport to the Peering Stones. And talk to you. Greetings, friend. It has been too long since we last spoke. What brings you to my village? Have this. So the rumors are true. I need not read this letter in full to know its contents. I understand Reagan-Fritz volunteers are working to support the families of those lost in the war, which few will deny is a worthy cause, but to include the relatives of the Crania Lupi. The Skulls watched the Empire slay us in our thousands, and still they turned their cloaks and fought for our oppressors. And you would ask us to mourn the deaths of these curs alongside their victims. You have every right to be angry and to refuse. Emerald wishes only that you read his account before coming to a decision. To dismiss it out of hand would be discourteous. Very well. Family. As Noon, my tribe is my family, and I know all too well the responsibility that brings. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. Loyalty, pride, conscience, my very soul, all are meaningless if I cannot ensure the safety of those I love. I suspect some Skulls had been faced with the self-same choice, but to see how their kin suffered, I cannot say I do not understand, though I wish that I did not. The crimes will never be forgiven. They cannot be. But I, and any others who are willing, can offer our prayers for these tortured souls and the men they could have been. I'll accept the invitation, not on behalf of the M tribe, but as Miraz Nun. Though I will put the question to my people that they decide for themselves. I am also eager to make the acquaintance of the person who wrote this letter. He is not one to turn a blind eye to the bitter truth, painful though it is to confront. The meeting will be the perfect opportunity to take his measure. Come, Tiny Seal, we must away to the Snake People. Here we are. Welcome. To what do we owe the pleasure of your visit? Then it is as I suspected. There have been rumors that such a ceremony would take place. Although you traveled far to make this invitation, I must decline. We cannot mourn the loss of the fallen of the Crania Lupi are to be counted among them. Like the Kaliana, they chose to aid the Garlean oppressors, killing and bleeding for those who would pillage our lands, cowards and traitors all. And are we to assume that the Kaliana who died fighting for the Empire will be honored as well? If so, that is all the more reason for us to refuse. That is your right, and no one will say otherwise. I come only to present a letter and ask that you read it in full. If you insist. No one was spared suffering in the occupation. Not the resistance, not the collaborators, not the families of both. No one. That so many would die in shame and ignominy, having sold their souls only to lose everything, is a tragedy and a lesson. If they are forgotten, then the lesson of their folly is forgotten. For the sake of this land we call home, I will join you in remembrance and implore my people to do the same. In mourning, may we strengthen our ties with our neighbors as well. By together facing our past, we can build a foundation for lasting peace and prosperity. It would be my honor to attend the proposed meeting, and I look forward to personally thanking your friend Ehrenwald for his dedication. I and my peers have much to learn from the example he has set. Back to the Alan Megan Quarter. Oh, he's right here. Hello! Didn't have to go looking for you. So, how did you fare in the fringes? They said that about me? It's rare for me to get such glowing praise, especially from renowned leaders like Sarisha and Maraz Moon. More importantly though, they agreed to attend the meeting, and I've got you to thank for that. After all, I imagine it's hard to turn down an invitation when it's hand-delivered by the Warrior of Light herself. Before I get ahead of myself though, I must remember that this is only the beginning. Bringing everyone together is one thing. Coming to an agreement on an extremely divisive issue is a different kettle of fish entirely, as Her Grace was quick to point out. But, as she taught me, if our cause is just and our hearts are true, those of like mind will surely answer the call. The answer they have. While there are bound to be differences of opinion, I'm sure there's nothing we can't overcome if we put our minds to it. To that end, I was hoping you could join us, if you've got the time to spare. There are still a few loose ends Regenfrid and I need to tie up beforehand, so we'll meet you at the palace as soon as we can. Just having you there will make a world of difference. Away! To the palace! Is there still a crater in the garden from when Lunar Bahamut appeared? Here for the meeting, yes? So while we all agree upon the importance of the ceremony, we recognize that the inclusion of the crania lupi will be distressing for many. I too lost family at their hands, and I would never ask others to forgive and forget. But for all their crimes, they were Alamegans, just like us. None made that decision to side with Garlemald lightly. They had a choice, and they chose to betray us. Who among us have not made difficult choices for kith and kin? And do not forget that Fordula chose to stand between us and a primal. What does that have to do with it? Brothers and sisters, arguing will avail us not. The fate of Alamigo rests on my shoulders and yours, on those of every man, woman, and child that calls these lands home. To uphold our honor, to strive for prosperity, to protect our loved ones, we all know the weight of these responsibilities. 'Twas that selfsame weight which drove many of our people to serve our oppressors, misguided as it was. And though they chose a different, unconscionable path, in the end, we all wanted the same thing, to deliver our families from persecution, that they might live to see one more day. Because another day in shame and self-hatred was still better than none at all. The regretful dead are survived by their despair, a despair which threatens to drag us all into an abyss from where there is no escape. Know that it surely will if we welcome it into our hearts out of disdain for those we cannot forgive. But we Alamegans will not be so easily defeated. We will stand united and conquer this menace. Every Alamegan who fought and died did so in the hopes that one day we would be free. And we are free. We are free. By the blood of our fallen brothers and sisters, we are free. Free to lock away the pain and pretend it has no power over us until it festers and takes us in our beds, and free to lay it bare and let it breathe, to acknowledge and to mourn our people at their best and their worst. The past is ours to bear, all of it, for ourselves and for future generations, so that they needn't suffer like we did. Let us make Alamigo a nation where no man is left behind, where he can make all of the wrong choices and still be afforded the chance to make a right one. That went better than any of us could have hoped for. You have my gratitude for your part in the proceedings. But we both know who the real hero of the day was. This was all Enwald's idea, and it was his words that finally won over the naysayers. Now that we have the community leaders on our side, we should have a much easier time convincing the rest of the citizenry. Of course, holding the ceremony is by no means our final objective. No matter what we say, some will refuse to attend. It is my hope, however, that it will still serve to provide a measure of closure for us all, and to ease the plight of the vulnerable and ostracized. Speaking of which, you recall the incident with Fordola and Alagana. The young girl she saved and her mother wished to thank her personally. Considering what happened last time, though, I have reservations. It would be a valuable opportunity to present a former skull in a more positive light. On the other hand, I don't need to tell you how unpredictable she can be. And that's before taking her echo into consideration. But that's a conversation for another day. Go and get some rest. You've earned it. Fish! Something terrible has happened. It's Fordola. She's escaped. She was accompanying a squadron out on a training exercise. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone. I didn't think much of it at the time, but she's been acting strangely ever since she went to meet that mother and child. You know, the ones who wanted to thank her for saving the girl's life. When I told Commander Alden about it, he went charging off to Alagana to ask them if they have any idea where Fordola might be. I thought about going after him, but when I heard you were headed this way, I reckoned it'd be better to send you in my stead. Godspeed, Kaharu. Uh-oh. Things are falling apart. Oh. Kaharu, I wasn't expecting to see you here. You heard what's happened then. Just as Fordola was beginning to earn our trust, she's given us the slip. As you may know, she wears a choker that is designed to do exactly that if its enchantment is triggered. It's supposed to prevent her from escaping. If I were to give the orders, she would be dead within moments, and she knows that. She took the risk anyway, so I have to believe she has a good reason. That's what we're looking into now. We were hoping Clarel and young Lile, the lie here, could shed some light on the matter. We'd like to ask you about your conversation with Fordola, if we may. Yes, of course. I know she's the butcher, or was at least, but it didn't seem right to go without thanking her. That's why I requested the meeting, to express my gratitude and my apologies. She was quiet at first, just stood there as we spoke, as if she weren't even listening. And then I mentioned the blasphemy, and she looked at the lie, and all of a sudden clutched her own head and cried out in agony. The echo. Can you remember what you were thinking about at the time? A man. The one I saw in the city. What? Who? Did he have something to do with all those people panicking? I think he did. When I was waiting for you, I saw him. He was by himself. He looked poorly, so I asked if he was alright, and he said yes. He had a nice smile. He got up and started walking, but then... He was shouting and screaming. I was so frightened, I didn't want to talk about it, not even to Mum. I wish you'd said something sooner. I'm sorry, Poppet. This is my fault for leaving you on your own. The man who turned into a blasphemy, I'd wager. The girl saw him, which means Fordola now has seen him too. There was one other thing. When Fordola was having her, funny turn, she said something. Charlie? No. Charlotte, I think. Yes, that was it. Ring any bells? Can't say it does, but if he has anything to do with the skulls, the Silver Griffin should have some information on him. We'd best have a word with Ragnfrid then. You've both been very helpful. I'd also like to thank you for being so kind to Fordola. She may not have said it, but I'm sure it means a lot to her. I have a couple more things I'd like to ask, so I'll catch up with you later. Alright, let's go see what Ragnfred knows. Away! It's just over here, it's not far. Charlotte, you say? Yes, the name came up during our recent investigations. As I recall, he served under the Viceroy during the occupation, and his whereabouts is currently unknown. He had an older brother named Asenfrid, one of the Crania Lupi, which would give him a connection to Fordola. Is there anyone who can tell us more about him? Yes, an uncle, who we recently helped find employment here in Alagana. He is actually the one who asked us to look for Charlotte. You'll most likely find him working at the Sleeping Stones. As it happens, I was planning to bring him something to eat. I'll join you there shortly. Where is he? Oh, up. It's up. Okay, I got it. Waterfall! Where? Oh, I'm going all the way over here. Okay. Ralban! Perhaps we should have asked what he looks like. Still looking, eh? That's him over there. Oh, hello. I hope we're not interrupting. No, of course not. It's good to see you, Ragnfrid. My word, the Bull of Alamigo and the Champion of the Alliance. What brings such esteemed guests to our humble quarry? At ease, my good fellow. We merely wish to ask you about your nephew. Charlotte? You found him? No luck yet, then. Is there anything else you can tell us? More about his childhood, perhaps? It wasn't much of one, I'm afraid. Poor boy's life was ruined long before he had any say in the matter. His parents and I swore allegiance to Garlemald to secure ourselves and our kin citizenship, for all the good it did us here, living amongst our countrymen who treated us like pariahs. Took its toll on him and his brother, to be spat on as traitors by association. One thing led to another, and Ansfrid, together with most of his friends, joined the Imperial Army. And that's how I started, you know, the Crania Lupi, Gaius's little loyal pups. Do you remember the names of these friends? Yes, he had quite the reputation growing up. There was Emmeline, Rudolph, and the angular little girl who grew up to become the butcher herself, Fordola. Charlotte was part of their group too, yes? But from what we've heard, he chose not to become a soldier. Wouldn't have lasted a day in training. He knew that better than anyone. Of course. Not that it helped him feel any less guilty for turning his back on the others. He blamed himself for their deaths, for not stopping them when he had the chance, for not being strong enough to fight by their side. Maybe saved them, maybe not, but he wasn't there, and he wished he had been. Then one day, he was gone. Wherever he is, I hope he's safe and well. So do we. Thank you. The information you've shared should prove useful. And for you, I've brought some food. Why don't you call it a day and go enjoy it with your family? Then I'm gonna have the piece for now. Back to Alagana. Yeah, maybe not tell him for now that his nephew might be the Blasphemy that we've been trying to hunt. Maybe not tell him that just yet. So not only was his brother a member of the Skulls, but Charlotte himself was a childhood friend of Fordola's. I'm told he refused to support the Silver Griffins as well. He's been trying to make his own way for some time now. His brother and his friends died at Specula Imperatorius. Save for Fordola, and gods only know how he felt about her after that. Or how Fordola felt about Charlotte after seeing Lee's memories of him, transforming into a Blasphemy. Brother of a man she killed and a childhood friends besides. She thinks she's responsible for this. That's why she ran, to kill the beast. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm worried about her. Fordola is a survivor and an outcast herself, exactly the sort of person the Silver Griffins are trying to support. You've seen for yourself the sacrifices she's willing to make, and if you can learn to feel sympathy for her, maybe others can too. I think we have enough information for the time being. Let's return to the city and plan our next move. Away! I've assigned a few of my soldiers to assist the Silver Griffins in investigating the Charlotte's background. With luck, we'll find him quickly, and then we can prepare for what must come after. We're all but certain Charlotte's the one who transformed into a Blasphemy, and so there's naught to be done but to put him out of his misery. As for Ferdola, I put Minago and her troops in charge of tracking her. Once they found her, they have my permission to lend whatever support they deem necessary. If it comes to it, I may ask you to join the search. Until such time, I ask that you take this opportunity to rest. Okie doke. I got a fish! I got a fish! Thank goodness you're here. Commander Alden needs to see you right away. Follow me. Keep it contained until I arrive, but do not engage if you can help it. Understood? That was Minago. Her unit has found Ferdola, or rather, she has found them. In fact, I have Ferdola on the search party's link pro. She wants a word with you. This is urgent, so be quiet and listen. The Blasphemy, my friend, is right in front of us. I tracked him down, and when he spotted me, he started heading towards Specula Imperatorius. Look, Haru, I need your help. Charlotte's not. He never wanted to hurt anyone, but this thing he's become is... I can't leave him like this. I've got to stop him, whatever it takes. Wait till we get there. Do not engage. Is that clear? I owe you. This is Minago. Can you hear me? We got the Blasphemy out. It's on the move. Get ahead of it, but maintain distance. We need to... Ferdola, what are you doing? Ferdola? Ferdola! There's no time to waste. They need our help. Well, time for an instance. Ratiata and Alighieri are not far from Specula Imperatorius. If we let the Blasphemy slip through our fingers, it doesn't bear thinking about it. And while Ferdola is determined to slay it by her own hand, we can't allow her recklessness to put the lives of others in jeopardy. The time has come for action. Are you ready? Heck yes, I am. Hold the line, for as long as you can. Commander Alden and the Warrior of Light will be here any moment. Stay strong. Woo! You go, Ralbon. You've done well. Leave the rest to us. Yes, sir. Get the engine to safety! Coward. Coward. Traitor. To them. To everyone. Ooh. Hello, Echo. I wish there was another way. So do I, but the fighting's the only thing I'm any good at. It makes me wonder how I ended up with such a clever brother. Too clever for my own good, maybe. Just the thought of going into battle, about getting hurt, about having to hurt other people. He's a bleeding heart, our Charlotte. Sooner befriend a fly than shoo it away, much less kill it. I could kill if I wanted. I could. But you don't, and there's no shame in that. Leave the soldiering to us, Charlotte. We'll show the Guardians what we're capable of. Get the power and respect we deserve. And then, things will change. They will. You'll see. We found our place for ourselves, and you'll find yours soon enough. Alright, that'll do. Everyone who's enlisting, meet back here tomorrow. In the end, what good did I do? They gave everything they had to give, while I hid like a rat waiting for the storm to pass. Coward. Coward. Coward! Coward. Coward. Better dead. Better forgotten. It's not your fault, Charlotte. It's not. You didn't do anything wrong. And I'm the coward. The traitor. The butcher. I'll always be the butcher. Don't you dare, Fordola! You don't get to end it. You don't get to give up. I won't let you. You have a lifetime to make amends and atone, to become something more than you were. But if you die here, you are everything they say. Everything you believe. Is that what you want? She's not going anywhere. Ehrenwald, why are you here? There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I can't fight by your side, but I can still cheer you on. I've seen your past, Charlotte. How you were left behind while your friends rushed into battle. It's bloody hard, isn't it? Wanting to do something so desperately with every fiber of your being, knowing that you should be able to. You should, but you can't. So you find another way to support them. Your way. You did that too, didn't you? You were there for them, even if it didn't feel like it, but you were, Charlotte. You were. As a friend of mine once said, not all heroes are forged by the fires of battle. The history of Alamigo is writ in blood. While we cannot change the past, we can change the future. And for that, we must all play our part. All of us. Let us grant Charlotte the peace he deserves. Asfred, Emlyn, one day we'll be together again, but not yet. You'd never hurt anyone, Charlotte. That's not who you are. You'll be remembered as the kind soul you always were. Blasphemy, Charlotte. I'm counting on you. Cordella, you get this. Let's go.
As one!
Oh, okay, we're out on plane too. Okay. Give that to Halbon. Beautiful. Whee! One of these. Have this as well. Cordella needs friends. I probably should have moved. That was gonna hurt. Thank you, Halbon. Thank you, Halbon.
Show them what we're made of!
Cordella, no! Ah. Limit break! Limit break! Limit break!
Hurrah, Tizona!
Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. That. I'm trying. Try this. Go, Cordella. Got him. This is my healer build. This is one of my healing classes, Sage. It's a barrier healer. Actually, I'm a healer main, not a tank main. Yeah, I was a tank for Shadowbringers. I'm being a DPS for Endwalker, though for the rogue quest I have to do the job assigned to the rogue quests. In this case, healer. Thank you. I mean it. Aww. I've been looking everywhere for you. Have you now? Oh. We put down the last remaining beast spawned by the Blasphemy. 'Tis a pity we could do naught for those who turn, but that we were able to prevent further casualties is nothing short of a miracle. It's astonishing, too, looking back at Charlotte's case. Although his existence spurred others to transform, he never attacked any settlements or travelers. Even when he underwent the change in the middle of a crowded street, those who were present escaped with minor injuries at worst. I think that deep down, his compassion is what kept the raging blasphemy at bay. The only time he emerged from hiding was to journey to the place where his brother died. Aye, it's clear he still retains some semblance of his former self. Another victim of the Empire's terrible legacy, along with his friends and so many others. But the Crania Lupi wasn't the creation of the Imperials alone. Many of those youths sought a place with them because they were denied one with us. That's why the memorial ceremony is so important. It's our chance to face our past together, to give them in death what we couldn't in life. To not deny anyone a place in memory, even if it hurts or makes us feel ashamed. You'll be attending, won't you? I haven't been ordered to, so I suppose not. In light of your legal service to Alamigo, I intend to have the conditions by which you are bound eased. Providing I am able to obtain approval, you will be granted a degree of freedom. At the very least, we should soon have no need for that choker. There'll be no objections from me. You've done well. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were smiling. Well, I for one wouldn't be couldn't be happier if her efforts are being recognized. It gives me that much more motivation to continue my work with the Silver Griffins and bring the people of Alamigo close together. Got to do my best to keep up with a certain little lordling, aye? I think we've done enough for one day. Time we got some rest. Allow me, as both the guardian of Alamigo and as your sworn comrade, to express my thanks for coming to our aid in these desperate times. No matter what manner of disaster may befall us, your presence alone is enough to keep the flame of hope burning bright. Even someone on the very precipice of despair such as Fordola can find salvation in your guiding light. Heavens forbid people would stop throwing themselves in harm's way at every opportunity. And put you healers out of a job? Not a chance. Though in all seriousness, we could all stand to take fewer risks. In any case, it's safe to say we've all benefited enormously from your sterling work here. We couldn't ask for a better healer or a better friend. Our ambassador at Rosenhan will be relieved to learn of our successes here. If you happen to cross paths, give him my regards, would you? Boop, 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 boop. Down this hallway. Up the stairs. And is it through this? No, it's not through this hallway. It's through this door here. Right. Hello, everybody. Greetings. How goes it in Alamigo? Eliminating Blasphemy's helping organize the memorial ceremony, they've certainly kept you busy. A fine example of going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll be sure to send word of your exploits to Ul'dah. Wait till the Sultana hears about this. Her Grace will not be the only one to welcome this news. On behalf of the Grand Company of Eorzea and our allies, allow me to express my most heartfelt gratitude. Yay, I did it! Yay, I can now dye my healer gear. Yay! We did it! And now I'm going to switch to Red Mage. Because from the looks of it, I have enough time in my usual day to do about 2 of these. So let's do the magic one next, which is the one that Briar kept telling me I should do, and I am about to find out why, because again, I have only done the healer one before. I have not done any of the other ones, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be expecting apart from the blasphemies. So this should be interesting. Ah, my Lady Kaharu, I have awaited your coming. The phenomenon wherein men turn into monsters, it pains to say that Ishgard has not been spared. A dreaded blasphemy has appeared in the Holy See, and to compound the people's horror, the beast resembles a dragon. 'Tis imperative that it be vanquished without delay, and to that end we have begun assembling a hunting party. Given the fear and despair that may turn our allies against us, we are being stringent in whom we choose for this duty. Yet while we have confidence in the quality of our knights, the mission would benefit greatly for the presence of a battle mage, One who can stand unflinching in the face of our foul quarry. We would be hard-pressed to find an individual who fits that description better than you. Will you not lend us your strength and skill? Of course I will. You can count on me. We are in your debt. Just a moment while I relay the glad tidings to command. Tis settled. Upon arriving in Ishgard, please take yourself to the Aetheryte Plaza. Lord Artorel will be there to receive you. May the Fury speed your way. Ah, I'm seeing Artorel. Neat. I haven't seen him in forever. Boop. Away. Okay. Artorel! I haven't seen you in forever. Let me hug you. Let me hug you. Yes. Hello. Karu, I have been expecting you. Words cannot well express how heartening it is to have you fighting beside us. Allow me to echo that sentiment. Hemerick! I haven't seen you since we went to Garlemald. Greetings, my friend. Lest you wonder, Lord Artorel and I are leading the effort to deal with the blasphemy. With your capable self in the fold, I have no doubt that we shall succeed. Without further ado, I shall brief you on the situation. 'Twas a handful of days after the first beasts appeared in Ronzat Han. An Elzen man was observed in the hoplon in the pillars, walking with an unsteady gait. All of a sudden, he buckled over as if in pain, and before anyone knew what was happening, he had transformed into a terrible, draconic beast. Oof! At the mere sight of this, many who chanced to be present also turned, and regrettably the temple knights were forced to put them down. The blasphemy itself, however, took wing and fled. Profane Fafnir, we have chosen to call it, after the Dragon Man of Ishgard myth. Of Ishgardian myth, rather, sorry. Since that day, the beast has oft been sighted in the skies above Ishgard. It does not attack, only circles menacingly for a time ere disappearing again. Alas, these brief visitations are enough to cause more people to turn, and for fear and panic to spread further. As part of our investigation, we have sought to identify the man who became the blasphemy, but thus far we have learned naught. We have, however, identified a common thread between those who subsequently turned. All were people of fervent faith, people such as priests and inquisitors. Interesting. When the truth of our nation's history was laid bare, the legitimacy of the church was called into question. Many Ishgardians struggled to reconcile the revelations with their beliefs, and none more so than the pious. Such men and women, we posit, would be more susceptible to despair, and therefore the transformation. We must find a way to stop it. Ishgard has only just emerged from a 1,000-year war, and we cannot suffer another great tragedy, much less so soon. In order to attain a better understanding of the situation, we intend to speak with a member of the clergy. The sole individual who survived witnessing the blasphemy's birth without being turned. Clem is his name, and he's a deacon of the St. Raimonon's Cathedral. Come, let us seek him out there at once. I can just take the ether right there, it's fine. Ethernet! This is why we have Ethernet. Okay, and it should be somewhere in here. Ah, hello! Lord Emmerich, Lord Artwirl, and the savior of Ishgard besides! You do me great honor. I am Clem, and I serve as a decadon here at St. Raymond's Cathedral. I understand you were among those at the Hoplon when the incident occurred. We give thanks to the Fury for your merciful preservation. We now seek to prevent the Blasphemy from wreaking further havoc, and would appreciate any details you can provide. Loath though we are to make you recall unpleasant memories, will you not recount to us what you witnessed that day? Very well. We are presently relocating the vault's libraries to the cathedral, in case you are unaware. We had finished delivering a batch of tomes, and we were on our way to bring over another. As we approached the Hoplon, we noticed a young man walking unsteadily. No sooner had he come to an abrupt halt than he transformed into a draconic beast. The fiend fixed us with a menacing glare, and it was all we could do to find our wits and flee. But to my compounding horror, my brethren who were with me began turning into monstrosities as well, one after another. Praise the Fury that you at least were spared, Daikon Clem. I cannot imagine how frightening the experience must have been. Who is this? Who you? Bishop Vartna. One of the two. I think it's Vartna. Forgive me if I interrupt. I was informed that our Starward protectors were present and wish to express my gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your service. I pray that we shall soon be free of this scourge. Indeed, if there is aught we might do to aid your efforts, you need but say it. You are most kind, Your Grace. That was Bishop Vartna, the head of St. Raymond's and a member of the Synod. With the seat of the Archbishop vacant, he is, in effect, the highest authority in the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. This is so, yet in spite of his elevated station, he remains as kind and humble a man as any I have ever known. Like his grace, I will do all that I can to help shepherd our people through this uncertain time. To that end, there is a request I would make of you, if you can spare a moment to consider it. Of course, if it is within our power, we shall be glad to offer you aid. Thank you. What is it, good sir? In the wake of the transformations, a group of clergymen fled the city in fear. Yet, though they sought refuge in the wilderness, they put themselves at the mercy of the elements and fell fiends both. Given that the cause of the transformation is not clear, I think theirs was a decidedly unwise decision. I wish to set out and find them, but I am not trained in the ways of war. As such, I require those who are to accompany me in the search. So that is the way of it. Suffice it to say, we will help. Do you know whither your fellows may have headed? The Western Highlands, I believe. Between Gorgon Mills and Hemlock, there is no shortage of abandoned dwellings in the area. Very well. Time is of the essence, and I propose we split up and scour the separate areas. Gaharu, if you could escort the good Daikon to Gorgon and Mills, Lord Archwell and I will tend to Hemlock. Alright. Let me just teleport to Falcon's Nest. Let's go see what's at the mills, I guess. Whee! Oh, I'm on the Thornton burb. No, that's not the Thornton burb. What burb is this? What burb are you? You are the Thornton burb, aren't you? Yeah, I am on the Thornburb. Thornburb. Look at me go. Okay, the mill should be there. Hey, that was the heretic hideout before once upon a time. Interesting. Hello. Yes, it is me. You! Hello. Ah, I see you found them. Yes, and none the worse for the wear, thank the Fury. My friends, forgive us if we have given cause for alarm. We come out of concern for your well-being. Though we understand why you would quit the city, we fear you may have placed yourselves at greater risk by coming here. Oh, bless me. His Grace Bishop Vartana, too, worries for your health and prays for your swift return. So please, will you not allow us to escort you back to the Holy See? I assure you, you will be much safer there than in this wretched place. Servants of the Fury will never be safe in the city, don't you see? This is your fault! You and your accursed revolution! The people disdain us, mock us behind our backs, and spit in our faces. And now someone is conspiring to transform us into monstrosities. Enemies of the church, I'll wager, emboldened by your deeds. So no, I will not go back to Ishgard. I'd sooner freeze to death than suffer your pity. Wow. Oh no. What? All I have ever done was in service to her. I am a good man. I do not. She cannot forsake me. How long do you deserve? It's running away. Kahar, we cannot allow him to harm any others. Give chase and do what you must. We will remain here and keep the others calm. Alright, where'd you... There you are. Alright, come at me. Whoop. What's this? Thank you. Goodbye. Emmerich, I did the thing. I did the thing, Emmerich. It is done, Kaharu. My thanks. What happened is most regrettable, but we must be grateful that no one else came to harm. While you were gone, the Decadent was able to convince the others to return to the city. Let us escort them back at once, then reconvene at the congregation to consider our next course of action. For our purposes, we have use of the strategy room. Announce yourself to the guard without, and he will show you in. back to Ishgard. Hello! I can finally go back into this place. Lord Emmerich and Artoral await you within the strategy room. Will you be joining them now? Yes! Let me in! Ooh! I've never been in here before. Look at this. I didn't know this room existed. Well, this room didn't exist until Endwalker, but you know, details. I like this room. Oh, this must be where Emmerich sits in this chair. Nice. I'm just, like, imagining, like, them just watching a very excited tiny Zayla just running around this room. As soon as she enters. Lest you wonder, we have taken the clergy to St. Raymond's to rest and recover. If truth be told, the thought that they may still succumb to despair and turn remains at the forefront of my mind. Yet the risk would be greater still were we to keep them at arm's length and deny them the comfort of the church. Yeah, pretty much. Indeed, from the words he spoke, that Inquisitor yearned for the days of old. He and others like him can scarcely be blamed. Since the truth of the nation's founding and the Archbishop's machinations were made public knowledge, the Church has been in turmoil. Though we have made great strides in separating religion and state, there has been far less progress in the reformation of the Church. For our faith has been everything to us, our purpose and our comfort. 'Tis not an easy thing to reconcile one's beliefs with the betrayal of our spiritual leaders. Thus torn between their hearts and minds, many Ishgardians feel lost, and none more so than the members of the clergy whose faith was once unshakable. Little wonder then that the most dedicated and devout are like to turn. So it seems, but further investigation is needed ere we draw a definite conclusion. With the war's end, Ishgard is set out on a new path. The choices we make shall now determine our course for the future. Come what may, we dare not squander the chance we have fought so hard to attain. Once the returned clergymen have sufficiently calmed down, I shall have the Daikon speak with them, that we might gain insight to their individual plights. Yeah, that's my normal, honestly. Good. Meanwhile, I shall take the opportunity to brief my men on recent developments. Pray take a moment's rest, my friend. You have earned it. When you're ready to continue our work, you may seek us out here. I mean, I'm level 90. I can just go from the 85 quest to the 90 quest. It's fine. I can just go through it. Let's go. Aw, thank you, Blackie. Ah, Kaharu, your timing could not be better. Daikon Clem has finished speaking with the rescued clergymen and will be here shortly to share his findings. Lord Emmerich too is on his way. Let us wait for them. Dagon Clem, we thank you for making the inquiries on our behalf. 'Twas not my position in the least. As I said, I am glad to do all I can. So, 'tis our understanding that those we escorted back were all close acquaintances of the Inquisitor who turned. Like him, they too had been the subject of harassment by certain quarters of the populace. Is this correct? It is, I am afraid. And they are far from alone. Men of the cloth were once afforded respect and deference as servants of Halone, but now they are openly reviled by many. We are complicit in perpetrating terrible lies, this is true, but we too were misled. We too are victims, yet we are regarded by some as criminals. Well do I understand the people's anger, but it saddens me to think that they would thus lash out at their fellow man, especially when we needed solidarity most of all. Though I can imagine your plight, I will not presume to fully grasp your pain. Will you tell us what the challenges you and yours have had to face since the war's end? Like all sons and daughters of Ishgard, we dreamed of peace in our lifetime, but now that it has come, we find we have little cause to rejoice. Our faith has long been on the foundation of our lives, and overnight that foundation has been crippled by fractures, beyond repair for some. To learn that we have been deceived, and that we had unwittingly deceived others in turn, was devastating. We who had once been shepherds to men and found ourselves lost lambs, bereft of surety and wanting for guidance. We have languished in darkness, all of us. Yet I have faith that the church will redeem itself, that it will find a new path and again become a beacon of hope for the people. I see. Thank you for sharing this with us. Your testimony has confirmed our suspicions. According to our allies, that which causes people to turn is none other than their despair and anguish. If it wasn't before, 'tis now abundantly clear why members of the clergy are among the transformed. That you did not, I believe, is due to your unwavering faith in the church. In light of this, we would ask for your continued cooperation. Of course, anything to help my brethren. Now that we have established the cause, that leaves us with the mystery of profane Fafnir's identity. The progenitor of these troubles, could he too have been a man of the cloth? From what I recall of his garb, I doubt it. He was dressed in the common fashion, and inadequately against the cold besides. 'Tis said that something of the individual may remain in the blasphemy, influencing its behavior. If we can determine what instincts drive profane Fafnir, we may learn who it was, and this knowledge, I believe, will prove vital in our efforts to stop it. Daikon Clem, we ask that you reach out to your fellow clergymen. Please do what you can to ease their anxieties. Understood. As I have ever done, I shall provide what comfort I can to those in need. Meanwhile, we must make it a priority to identify the blasphemy. To that end, I would seek out more eyewitnesses. The Hopwon is a busy place at any given time. Some ordinary citizens are bound to have been present as that tragic event unfolded. I propose we make inquiries at the pillars. If you could attend to the Hoplon, Lord Artorel and I will look in the surrounding areas. Okay. The Hoplon. Okay, so let's just teleport to the Tribunal, because that's one of the places where there's a red mark. Oh, hello! I wasn't present for the incident at the hop one, but a young man poorly dressed for the cold, that I did see. I recall him well because an aide from St. Veranos was searching for him. He was a patient at the infirmary, and by coincidence had the same name. Interesting. So he was being tended to at the infirmary before he ventured out. Okay. So I'm guessing he was probably like one of the soldiers that were fighting, either in the Dragonsong War or in the war against Garlemald, or in something that came after the War of Garlemald, because there was a lot that came after the war against Garlemald. And then the sky became on fire. No, I didn't see that dragon, nor would I have wished to, frightful as it sounds. They say it was an Adravanian attack, but if not, then what was it? It's a blasphemy. Don't worry about it. We're on the case. We're on it. Okay. And there's one more per you. That dragon that appeared in the Hoplon? Aye, I saw it with my own eyes. One moment an Ellison, the next a terrible beast. He was a heretic, I take it. Yeah, okay, yeah, it would make sense that you would think he was a heretic. Considering they had a penchant for, kind of doing that, drinking dragon blood and turning themselves into dragons. Nope, down further. Just a normal day in Ishgard. Yeah, pretty much. There you are, Kaharu. Did your search yield any fruit? I'm so small next to them. A patient of the Firmamen's infirmary, you say? Among those with whom I spoke, one claims to have witnessed an individual fitting that description. A man walking in stupor who did not seem to feel the cold. If he had wandered straight out of the infirmary, it would explain his state of attire. Yes, I dare say we have found a blasphemy, but to think that his name should be Vaindrill. 'Tis the same as that of a former Heavensward commander, Saint Vaindrill de Rochemont, for whom the infirmary was named. Sir Vaindrill, however, retired from his station at a ripe old age some years ago. 'Tis not like to have been him. In any case, we have a lead. I shall head to the infirmary at once. Pray wait for me in the broom. Alright. And then we go down here. Hello, Emmerich. This is Loverick, an aide who is in charge of Vaindrill. Have you found him? Oh, please say you have. We have not, I'm afraid, but we seek to, and hope you could tell us more about him. May we ask how he came to be at the infirmary? He was found by a patrol in the Central Highlands. After being treated for his hurts, he was brought to us for convalescence. Being in the prime of his years, he had been doing well, but then... Prime of his years? By all accounts, he is no old man. It seems safe to assume it isn't Sir Vaindro. Oh no, he's definitely a different person, as I told Lord Artoral. Though he gave his name as Vaindro, he seemed rather confused, and we had no means to confirm his identity. In his state, he shouldn't be wandering about on his own. Please, you must find him. The man who recently turned into a beast at the Hoplon. We regret to say it may have been Vaindro. What? No. How can this be? Is there aught else you can tell us? Things he may have said or done while in your care? While he was still unconscious, he would often ramble. Though most of it was incoherent, he mentioned the Archbishop many times. Oh, and he spoke of a bishop too, Bishop Vartana. I assumed he was a pious man, given this. I see. Thank you for your cooperation. We will continue our investigation and, should we confirm what became of Vaindro, inform you forthwith. No, you're one letter off. It's Lovric. Or Louvre, whatever. I don't know, it's French. I'm not going to assume what it is. I'm just going to pronounce it to the best of my ability. Let us return to the congregation for now. I'm going to cast Glamour on this. Sure, why not? Let's turn it into that. Up here. And then back in here. Yes, I would like to head in. Thank you. Hup. The mystery remains, but we are one step closer to identifying the man who became Profane Fafnir. Indeed, though he did not first appear to be a member of the clergy, his words betray a fervent faith. And how curious that he should speak not only of the Archbishop, but Bishop Virginia specifically. Perhaps he was personally acquainted with his grace. That is good theory. In light of the possibility, I believe we should speak with him directly. Agreed. I will request an audience, but His Grace has many demands upon his time. It may be a good while before we are seen. Should you have other business, pray feel free to attend to them in the meantime. Gar, excellent timing as ever. Dagon Clam has just sent word that Bishop Vartina will see us now, by which I mean right this instant. 'Tis extremely short notice, I know, but it would not dismiss the opportunity to learn how he and Vaindro may be connected. Not wishing to keep his grace waiting, Lord Emmerich is already on his way to St. Raymond's Cathedral. Come, let us hurry there ourselves. Never mind, we have to go right this instant. Where are we going? Oh. No event, just going straight there. Amazing. My lords, I am so sorry. I am far disgraced that you are making your way hither. But surely before you arrived, to recall that he had urgent business and had to leave the cathedral at once. He cannot have yet gone far, though, so if you wish to search for him in the hopes you can steal a moment of his time, to grant us an audience only to depart with such haste, what business could be so pressing? We missed the 5 seconds. No, we missed the 5 seconds. Oh, there he is. I found him. Well, now, that even the savior of Ishgard should be here. Your Grace, perhaps 'tis simply our misunderstanding, but we were under the impression you had granted us an audience. Lord Speaker, rest assured I was just about to return to the cathedral. There is no need, Your Grace. This will not take long. As you may have heard, we are investigating a young man named Vaindril. Is he known to you? No, I cannot say he is. With the exception of the former Archimandrite, I'm sure I know no one by that name. But mine and the Archbishop's are known to many, yes? Perhaps this youth took inspiration from public services over which we presided. Goodly soul that he is. Full glad am I that his faith was of comfort to him in sickness, and I pray to Helone that he will soon be found in good health. Now then, if there is nothing else, I shall return to my duties. Suspicious. Ah! Echo! Fear not, Your Eminence. I shall carry on your legacy. We have completed the preparations as per your instructions, but are you certain this will work? It will. It must. Lord Emmerich spoke the truth when he revealed the Archbishop sought primal powers to strengthen the people's faith. I could not bring myself to believe it. Not at first. But in the course of cataloging His Eminence's personal articles, I came upon his journal. Therein he had written that, through the abundant ether and fervent prayer, it is possible to make gods of men. All the power we require lies in this place, this as is law. By channeling the essential elements into the soulless flesh and sword we found, we shall summon forth King Thordan and his Knights 12, and by his blessing Ishgard shall be restored to its former glory. Oh dear. I'm surprised that sword is still there, considering it was part of Thordan, and we killed Thordan, like, way back in Heavensward. How is that sword still there? What is this? It's just an ordinary man, scarcely changed from before. Oh! Oh, he down. He down. His Eminence. I must protect... No. No, this isn't right. Confound it. Perhaps I overlooked something. I must return to the Holy See and review the journal. Your Grace, what shall we do with this... thing? Leave it. 'Tis a failure without use or value. The denizens of this place will deal with it soon enough. Well, heartless, aren't you? You look familiar. Karu, are you well? Were you perchance granted a vision of the past? An attempted summoning of King Thornton and his Knights 12? Your Grace, you should know full well that summoning is strictly forbidden. You will accompany us to the congregation and explain yourself. Uh-oh. I have dedicated my life to the Church, conducted my affairs in accordance with the Scriptures, and taught others to do likewise. But you took it all from us, tore down everything that defined us. You cannot know well how it feels to have your very existence rejected, to be forsaken by your community, and be denied by your society. Well, I deny you and this justice. I deny any Ishgard where the Church has no place. I refuse to accept it. Do you hear me? I refuse to accept it. Yep. I got this. No, Emmerich's got this. Nice! Go, Emmerich! Your Grace, no! That it should come to violence yet again. Would that your hand had not been forced, my lord. Daikon Clem should not be alone at this time. I will remain with him while tending to the aftermath. When things have settled, I will return to the congregation. Pray, go on ahead and get some rest. Oh, poor boy. Poor boy. I don't think there's going to be a festival. Forgotten Night. Yep, I would like to go to the strategy room, thank you. Hello, Emmerich. How fares the Daikon? Well enough, given the circumstances. Though understandably shaken, he is more determined than ever to help his fellows. Truly, he is possessed of a stout heart. But to think that even a member of the Synod could succumb to despair and turn. The crisis gripping the church is far greater than I had imagined. In pushing for such an abrupt separation of religion and state, we may have exacerbated the growing divide between the clergy and the general populace. Kaharu, will you recount in full that which you witnessed in your vision? That he should seek to use one of Alec's unholy abominations to create a primal. Yet that which manifested was like not the being you fought, but rather retained the form of a man, one driven by the desire to protect the Archbishop. We may safely assume the bishop did not have sufficient ether. Bereft of Nidhogg's eye, the sword of Aslan no longer has such power. Nor does that at the Warring Triad remain to be harnessed thanks to your valorous intervention. But if the summoning failed, how did the clone come to possess life, and what purpose drives it? Lack of ether notwithstanding, the necessary components were present for a summoning. Perhaps the ritual itself was a success, and the vessel, though imperfect, arose as a champion of the Archbishop. Yet how did he come to be in the Central Highlands? You believe that his clone and the man who became the Blasphemy are one and the same. Nay, I merely speculate. Yet considering what we know of the clone and Vaindro, it may seem a likely possibility. Whatever the truth may be, it will not elude us forever. But first, I must lay some groundwork for the next phase of our investigation. God's permitting, I will have news to share ere long, so pray, look in on us when you can. So the person that turned into a dragon was a clone? Is that right? A clone of who? Kaharu, you are ever a sight for sore eyes. Ill tidings, my friends. I dispatched the Temple Knights to find the clergyman who aided in Bishop Vartana's summoning attempt. Regrettably, when confronted, all turned and had to be put down. With their accounts, how then to ascertain that the clone and Vaindro are the same individual? Maintaining the assumption that they are, perhaps we should instead consider how Vaindro may have found his way to Kurthis. According to Kaharu's vision, he was abandoned in Az's law. But what did he do afterwards? Good question, good question. There's but one way to ascertain the truth. We follow his trail. I shall go and search for the clone in Az's law. If he is still there, then we are dealing with a different individual. A splendid idea. We leave the floating contingent in your capable hands. Continent, sorry. Meanwhile, Kaharu and I shall retrace Vaindro's steps whence he first appeared. Upon being found in the Central Highlands, he was taken to Camp Dragonhead. Let us make inquiries there. Alright. We have our mission, let us be about it. Out, midnight clock. Alright, let's see who knows anything about the man. Investigating the stranger we found you, are you? I wasn't involved myself, so I can't tell you much about the fellow. But in case it is of interest, earlier the same day I caught I caught sight of an airship flying dangerously low. It soon disappeared into the brewing snowstorms, looking none too steady. Airship. Curious. Well, no, if it isn't the late Lord Horchefant's dear friend, is there something you require? Ah, yes, the mystery man. I was among those who tended him. He was not attired for the snow, much less the snowstorm in which he had been caught, and was suffering from frostbite. When people are extremely cold, they may mistakenly feel that they are warm and disrobe. That might explain his state of undress. Curiouser and curiouser. Okay, and what do you have to say? Ah, 'tis ever an honor to receive you. What brings you to our humble camp this day? An injured man was found out in the wilds? Yes, I know the one. I was with the patrol that chanced into him north of here at Providence Point. He was unconscious and in a bad way, and we hurriedly bore him back to the camp. After doing what we could for him, we sent him on to the city. Curiouser and curiouser. Nope, I don't want that mount. I'll take this one though. Emmerich! There you are. Were you able to learn aught of interest? Boop, boop, boop. A mysterious man found collapsed after an airship was seen flying low. Yes, the accounts I heard are consistent with yours. I, for one, am curious about the fate of this unknown airship. To that end, I have arranged a pair of black chocobos for us, the more efficiently to scour the area. We shall continue our search to Providence Point, where Vaindra was said to have been found. Yes, let us be off. Whee! I'm on a chocobo! Ooh, that destroyed. I forgot how destroyed that was. Wow. Where are we going, Emmerich? Hey, someone's got the hand of shame. Look at that. Nothing so far. Let us continue northeast. Oh, we're going to the cave? Oh, hello! Oh, we found the Blasphemy and the airship. By the Fury, it's the Blasphemy. Ah! Echo! Every time. Oh. Oh, he crashed. He crashed. Oh dear. He crashed it. Oh, he does not look good. Oof. Oof. Oh, he down. His Eminence must protect His Eminence. No? Ah, you're finally awake. Hello may be praised. How are you feeling? Strong enough to speak? Can you tell me your name? My name is... Zephyrin? No, Cherubert. Was it Veligon? Polycrane? So many names swirling in my mind, and voices that reject them. Is there none they will accept? Are you alright? Vaindro. My name is Vaindro. Well now, that's the same as our infirmary. I dare say fate has guided you to us. So, Vaindro, if you're feeling up to a little conversation, can you tell me about yourself? Anything else you remember? Anything at all? A proud son of House Zamail, nay, a devout servant of Halone, who lives for the rush of battle, the pleasure of inflicting pain, the attentions of maidens, to fight beside my brother in arms. A lowborn runt, whose every effort went unrewarded, whose very name disqualified him from ever leading the temple knights. But his eminence raised me up, granted me a place at his side. From that day forth, I pledged my sword to his service, pledged my very being, my life to be offered up in defense of his. I am a knight of the Heaven's Ward, sworn to protect and serve the Archbishop. Oh, you're a knight. Forgive me if that sounded rude, but I had no idea. And while I realize your memories may be a bit muddled, I'm afraid I must inform you that the Heaven's Ward have not been seen in quite some time, and are presumed dead, and the Archbishop, well, he is most certainly no longer of this world. But the important thing is you're safe now, and we'll help you get back on your feet. Speaking of which, let me bring you some food and water. You must be absolutely famished. The Archbishop? Dead? No, this cannot be. How can I still be alive when he is not? I must find him. Kaharu! Oh lord! For the glory of King Thordan. I don't think we should keep him. Another vision, I take it. Let us make for Ishgard. I expect Lord Artoriel will return soon, if he has not already, and we should both be glad to hear your tale. Okay, so... the bishop tried to summon Thordan and his knights. But if I am correct, the summoning for Thordan failed, but not for the knights. So he has the memories and voices of 12 people inside of his head. 12 people live inside of that one poor dude. Well, considering what he turned into, I don't think it's fine. So they didn't manage to summon Thoradin, but they managed to summon the knight, all 12 knights, into a single body. Good lord. They succeeded in something, just not what they wanted. I don't think we can tame blasphemies. Ah, Kaharu, I pray your search was more productive than mine own. Everyone is here. Excellent. So, were you able to find our clone in Az's law? Nay, not but the discarded Astalon remained. How fared you with your own efforts in the Central Highlands? In the course of retracing Vaindrel's steps, we came upon the wreck of the Solil. I suspect he found the vessel abandoned in Az's law and tried to use it to return to Ishgard. But he crashed en route and was subsequently rescued by a patrol from Camp Dragonhead. So it would seem, and the Archbishop's airship was not the only thing we found. Profane Fafnir was there too. The creature chose to flee, but not before Kaharu had a vision of Vaindrel's past. Go on, my friend. Share with us what you witnessed. All the pieces fit, and it is as he surmised, my lord. Vaindrel and the clone are one and the same, and in his despair, he turned into a blasphemy. Yet the confusion he exhibited when asked his name, 'tis as if he wasn't sure of his own identity. According to the Scions, Primals retained the memories of the previous incarnations. From this, it may be assumed that the clone harbors the memories of all those who became King Thoradin and his Knights 12. Though he struggled to reconcile these conflicting memories, he managed to settle on the name Vaindrel. The voices within were clearly in agreement when facing Kaharu, the mere sight of whom drove the blasphemy to flee. Above all, however, they shared in the desire to protect the Archbishop. This desire was seared into Vaindrel's very being, and when he learned that he no longer had a purpose, the Heavens War took up arms against us in Ishgard. By their hand were we robbed of one of our finest knights and a dear friend. Even so, I would not wish such a terrible fate upon them. The selfsame fate inflicted upon many clergymen, and a fate I fear ordinary citizens will succumb to if we fail to act. The people will not soon forget the betrayal of our church's leadership, nor should they, but absent the comfort and stability once afforded to them by this institution, many have become lost, and all are too vulnerable to despair. The church can still be a source of comfort, but things need to change. I thought as much myself, my friend, but to hear you say it as well. Indeed, when the ground upon which we stand crumbles, we must find the strength to move forward, even should it cause us pain to do so. Lord Artorial, at the next House session I shall call for an inestimable council to be held. Insumio? My lord, such a gathering is reserved for... Oh, you intend for the church to codify new doctrine. Since the separation of religion and state, we have refrained from interfering in church affairs. But if the church is to remain part of Ishgardian society and continue serving the people, it must reconsider its role and formally address recent revelations. I would call for this council not as the Lord Speaker, but as a humble adherent of the faith. Long have I considered whether such measures were necessary, but lacked the courage to set them in motion. Now I have it, thanks to you. I shall tend to the necessary preparations at once. Among other things, we must reach out to those of the clergy who are amenable to reform. I ask for your patience in the meantime. Gaharu, owing to Lord Emirek's swift action, I am pleased to say that the Imminso Council will soon be held. In case you are unaware, the Council is the highest assembly in the Ishgardian Orthodox Church, its purpose to deliberate and decide upon doctrine. The previous one was held no less than 80 years ago, and 4 archbishops have since come and gone. Wow. As such, most Ishgardians know little of it save that which they have read in the historical records. Traditionally, the Archbishop and members of the Synod would meet behind closed doors. In light of Bishop Vernel's fate, however, this time the doors will be thrown open to the public. Indeed, for the first time in history, all men and women of the faith may have a hand in shaping the mission and teachings of the Church. 'Tis my hope that you will also join us in this endeavor. Daikon Clem, allow me to express our gratitude for your efforts in facilitating the Council. We appreciate the difficulty of your position. I merely heed my conscience and my faith, my lord. Acting in Bishop Vartanel's stead, I shall do all in my power to see that the Church may serve the people once more. Where is the Lord Speaker, if I may ask? He stepped outside for a moment, saying that he wished to gather his thoughts ahead of the council. The hour draws nigh, however. Kaharu, I shall proceed to the vault with the good Daikon. In the meantime, may I ask you to find Lord Emmerich? He should be at the last vigil, I believe. Okie doke, I will find Emmerich. Alright, let's go see where Emmerich's gone off to. Oh, excuse you? I was trying to click on the ether and you were so rude as to teleport where I was clicking. Hey, Emmerich. You okay? Oh, to see you, my friend. Is it time already? I see. My apologies for making you come and fetch me. I have been thinking, Gaharu, on the path I have chosen to walk, and on those who have been left behind as a consequence of my actions. Those who died fighting, those burdened with boundless grief, those deprived of position and purpose. Like any nation, Ishgard is made up of desperate souls with desperate beliefs. Disparate souls with disparate beliefs. Without an enemy to unite us, we recall the differences we once set aside out of necessity, and find amongst our old friends new ideological foes. The future I had envisioned, 'tis far more difficult to secure than I ever imagined. What must I do for our people to live in harmony? For our nation to move forward as one? Such questions I have been pondering. We should begin to make our way to the council. Shall we continue our conversation while we walk? Ready? Then let's be off. If it is agreeable, I would like to look on Fortel Manor. I have Emmerich following me! Yay! I am happy with this. I approve of this. It feels like another age that you and yours were no more than foreign wards and... Hold on. I can do this. It feels like another age that you and yours were no more than foreign wards of House Ratom. And in actual fact, it may be considered so. For your coming set in motion a chain of events that brought an end to the Dragonsong War, ushering in a new age of harmony. You paved the way for meaningful change in our nation, and for that you shall ever have my gratitude. Now then, shall we continue on to the architects? Is there... No, there's no speech bubbles. Okay. Architects. The statues here. King Thorin and his Knights 12, the murderers of Ratatoskr. Since the truth of their ancient crime came to light, many have demanded that these images be torn down. Yet though what our founding fathers did was wrong, neither is it right to simply expunge them and their deeds from history. To do so would be to deny our people's part in what followed for 1,000 years. We have the chance to forge a new future, but we, as a nation, must decide how we will confront our past. Forgive me, I was lost in thought yet again. Let us join Daikon Clem at the vault. No thought bubbles, okay. There you are, my friends. The council is about to convene. Let us make a place Let us take our place in the audience hall. Oh, I've been in here before. Long time ago. Esteemed members of the clergy and honored adherents of the faith, I thank you all for your attendance. In recent days, our nation has been racked by a series of tragedies. Those among us who do Haloni's work have been transformed into abominations. This dreadful phenomenon has been brought about by the final days, and it is upon our despair and anguish that it feeds. Thus, if we are to prevent further tragedy, we must strive to ensure that all Ishgardians, clergymen and citizens alike abide with peace and love for one another in their hearts. To that end, I have called this Inusual Council the first in generations, that we might together determine a path forward for the Church and our society as a whole. Since antiquity, the Ishgardian Orthodox Church served the people in two respects, as the Fury Spear to strike at the hearts of dragonkind, and as the Fury Shield to safeguard the souls of men. But now that we are at peace with the Dravonians, the Church need no longer serve as the spear, so now we must reconsider how we might better serve as a shield for our brethren. The hierarchy must be reformed, and for that we need accountability. The upper echelon must be stripped of rank, and at a minimum, and investigations conducted, trials held if the evidence is sufficiently damning, and then we may turn our attention to their doctrine of lies. As our predecessors did before us, we of the Synod have ever sought to interpret the scriptures to the best of our ability, and thence conveyed Haloni's will to the people. Such fervent pursuit of retribution at the expense of doctrine will also come at the expense of our faith. Have we won the war to lose our souls? Oh, Halone, are we outside your grace? This bodes ill. At this rate, someone might turn. Since the war's end, the Church and the faithful have stood at a crossroads, unable to take the next step forward. His great Bishop Vertina, may he walk in Halone's halls, was one such soul, and in his longing for simpler times, he resorted to using forbidden magics. He succumbed to despair. In our minds, we renounce the lies upon which our nation was built, but in our hearts we yearn for the righteousness, misguided though it was, that gave us comfort and purpose for so long. So let us not forget who we were. Let us confront the mistakes of the past and learn from them, that we do not repeat the mistakes of our forefathers. As fervently as we believed in our sacred duty, we struggle to accept the Church's deception and embrace change. The legacy of Thornton weighs heavy, and there is the temptation to simply cast it aside like a mantle that suits us no longer. Yet thou didst honor the sacrifice of those who went before, countless souls who served the people with purest intent. And so, heavy though it may be, let us together bear this burden as we set forth anew. Our friend Kaharu risked life and limb to reveal the truth to us. The truth that our legends and our scriptures were tainted by betrayal, but not wholly corrupted. Though the great walls and towering spires of our city may have been built with murder and deception, they rest upon a foundation immutable and true. Our devotion to Halone, whom we have worshipped since before our forefathers settled in these lands. The Church is the font of practical wisdom, and its teachings guide us in our daily lives. Such things define our faith no less than the lies. We can acknowledge our sins without renouncing our religion. Aye, and without rejecting who we are. A comprehensive review of scripture as well as historical literature will be necessary. Revisions, as appropriate, must be made to ensure that the truth of our past is preserved for future generations. Aww. With your purest knowledge of church doctrine, I dare say none is better suited to leading that effort than you. I also expect that many eyes will be required to pore over all the tomes, and I know many idle men and women of faith who would jump at the chance to do Halone's work once more. That day so very long ago, I had no answer to my father's words, but it seems the people had it within them all along. Aw, they're coming together again. Now we just gotta deal with the blasphemy. council went better than I had dared hope. Truly, while the details remained to be decided, 'twas a resounding success. Your words helped everyone to find common ground. I know not how to thank you. Much credit must go to Kaharu. In the face of great hardship, never did she hesitate to press on, and our people have not forgotten this. Indeed, well do I remember the day you flew into Ishgard upon a dragon's back. In making possible the impossible, you inspired us all. In you we glimpsed the fury, a vision of courage in the face of uncertainty. Looking to your example, we shall endeavor to bring about change to the Church for the future of all Ishgardians. There will, of course, be those souls who struggle to rise above the mire of despair, but my fellows and I shall be there to take their hand in faith and love. For what is faith, if not salvation? Well, I'd best return to the cathedral. We have much and more to do. But ere I forget, I have tracked down that which you requested. Some repairs will be necessary, but it will be seen to with all haste. I had tasked the Daikon with finding a certain item, you see. A secret weapon, one might say. Given how we know of profane... what we know of profane Fafnir, I suspect it will be of great use in our hunt. Once the repairs are complete, we shall be ready to strike. With the Church having reached an accord with the people, the risk of more clergymen turning is greatly diminished. We may now focus entirely on the Blasphemy. 'Tis time we freed Vaindril from his torment. Rest while you can, Kaharu, for I dare say the coming battle will demand the best of us. Oh, I got soup! Oh, goodbye! Glad tidings, Kaharu. Since the Immutable Council, not a single soul has turned. Safe in that knowledge, we need only think of how to hunt down the Blasphemy. Ah, Kaharu, you are here too. Excellent. I am pleased to say that the secret weapon is ready. We may now look to dealing with profane Fafnir. As you will recall, when we last encountered it, it was lying in wait by the Solil. As an instinct driven by its inherited memories, I believe, it seeks to protect that which it most strongly associates with the Archbishop. In all likelihood, 'twas the selfsame motive that compelled it to come to the Holy See. From the skies above, it keeps watch over the Holy Vault. When it next descends, we shall exploit this instinct by using our secret weapon to lure it to the chancel. What exactly is the secret weapon? 'Tis none other than the Fury's Grace, the holy crozier of the Archbishop. Suspecting that Bishop Vertina had retrieved it from Az's Law, I had Daikon Clem search his private quarters. My suspicions proved correct. With the crozier in hand, I shall make an irresistible bait for profane Fafnir. My lord, that is an unconscionable risk. There's no telling how the Blasphemy will react. Indeed, but we can be confident that I will command his undivided attention, thus ensuring that no more of our citizens are placed in harm's way. If the Heaven's Ward are the Archbishop's shield, then the Temple Knights are the people's. As leader of the Order, the risk is mine to bear. All the knights of the Heaven's Ward fell in Naz's law. As a vessel for their memories, Vandro may be considered the last of their number. Let us go then, and relieve him of his... nay. Their duty. Let us see to our preparations and proceed to the vault. We finish this once and for all. Well, time to kill a primal living inside a clone body. I guess. 13 primals inside a body. Good lord. That turned into a blasphemy. Good lord, this storyline. Oh, no. I want to go up these stairs here. Emmerich, I am ready for whatever hell this will unleash. If you are ready, then let us set forth. You need but say the word. Let's go! Nope. There it is. The beast has come. Now's our chance. Oh, his staff. Make ready. To me, my knights! Hey, it worked! Blasphemy, profane Fafnir. That is actually a very pretty dragon model for the glory of King Thordan. Let's go. No, you're not he. A trick! It is a trick! Wait, where did the staff go? Forgive me, Sir Vandro, but for the sake of all Guardians, we must strike you down. Go!
It ends here!
Get him! Oh, I can only see Dragon Tail. There we go. Ow. Okay. Carefully.
You underestimate me!
Whoop. What does this do? Ooh, interesting. Oh, that. Emmerich, you need healing. Where's Vicure? Vicure!
underestimate me!
I don't think anyone's underestimating you, Emmerich. Oh, where'd he go? Ow!
Ah!
Rude. Yeah, I know he's there, Emmerich. He landed on my head. Ah! My twirl!
We must stand our ground!
Emmerich, you need healing.
You underestimate me!
Ah! I need healing. Hold on. Twirl, you need healing. Oh dear. I'm trying. Almost. Come on. Get him! Hold on, get him while I heal you.
I will not falter!
Oh! Tinklebee! Anyway. Ah! Ah! Ow. Yeah, there's no escaping that. Okay. Ow. I'm okay. Thank you, Archwell. Ow. Almost. I know where I'm going. Almost down, almost down. Get out of that breath attack. Good lord. Make you're gonna want to hear yourself soon, hon. Ah! Oh! Beep. I found a safe spot. Emmerich, no! How did you dodge that? Ow! Could you not for 5 seconds?
This knight does not yield!
You're almost down. Let's go. Gotcha. Finally, it is over. Oh! There it goes. Thus ends the tale of the Heaven's Ward. Let it not be forgotten. 'Twas wrong of them to conceal the truth of our nation's founding, to abet the Archbishop in his machinations. Yet in peering into their hearts, one thing became clear. They too had succumbed to primal manipulation. They too were victims. Flawed men, aye, and not without sin, but guardians brave and true, as we all aspire to be. Having triumphed in the battle of ideals, I have a responsibility to all our people. Their hopes and dreams, their sorrow and suffering are mine to bear, and bear them I shall. For had you not vanquished King Thordan, or had I erred in but one of my choices, I may well have been the first to succumb to despair, to be reborn in Blasphemy. You wouldn't have turned. Not you. Thank you, my friend, for having such confidence in me. My apologies. 'Twas not mine intent to wax sentimental. Our work here is done. Let us return to the congregation. Well, that was an interesting little fight. That was a very pretty dragon model. Shame we'll never see it again. Got net. No. No, we were not allowed to keep him, Blackie. I'm sorry. Permit me to offer my gratitude for helping us to overcome not only the blasphemy, but the despair which spawned it. This is only the beginning. On the face of it, we may have made tremendous strides in breaking down ancient barriers within our society, but there yet remains great rifts to be bridged. 'Tis no easy thing to rise above a lifetime of preconceptions and prejudice. I myself will struggle to do so, as you must know. But I shan't give up. On the honor of my house, I will do everything in my power to build a new Ishgard. One in which all people can see eye to eye, regardless of birth and station. Now then, I believe that the Daikon has some words for you two. Pray lend him an ear. My Lady Kaharu, may I say how glad I am that you are safe and well. Just before you arrived, Lord Emmerich explained to me the true nature of the man who became the Blasphemy. The poor confused creature was born of the Church's mistakes, and on behalf of the clergy, I give you my heartfelt thanks for laying it to rest. As we work to reform our institutions and rebuild our relationship with the people, we will remember to pray for all those who have fallen in service to the faith. And we shall pray for you as well. Wheresoever your path may lead, may the Fury ever watch over and keep you. I shall leave it at that then. Lord Emmerich too wishes to speak, and 'twould not do to keep him waiting. Kaharu, Lord Artorial, I thank you for the vital roles you played in ridding us of profane Fafnir. As ever, the sight of you in combat was nothing short of inspiring. With no further reported instances of people turning into the Blasphemy and the Blasphemy itself no more, I should like to believe we are free of the scourge of despair. My brother and I shall labor to see that it ever remains so by fighting to dispel the darkness in men's hearts. And I shall fight with you, not only as the Speaker of the House of Lords or the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, but as a man of faith, in our God and in our people. Together, let us strive to fill our nation with hope. Kaharu, by now you will be sick unto death of being thanked, but I must nonetheless express an additional word of gratitude. Full oft have you saved our nation, our people. I speak not only of our lives, but our hearts and minds as well. You have given us a great gift, that of opportunity and choice. And if we are to repay you for it, we as a nation must take full advantage of our freedom to dictate a new course forward, into a brighter future. What forward means we may not always agree upon. But as fellow guardians, we shall find a way to rise above our differences and stand united. That is the nation I will strive to build. This I swear to you. Kaharu, given all that you have done for us, I am loath to impose further, but may I trouble you to bear word of our success to our officer at Razat-Han. We will of course be sending a report, but there is no substitute for a first-hand account. Our allies would benefit from the additional details you can provide as well. Our thanks again, my friend, and may the Fury speed your way. Back to Razat-Han! Run, 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 run! Run, 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 Kaharu, run! And the sprint wore off. That's okay. We're almost there. My Lady Kaharu, by your return, I dare hope that the hunt for the Blasphemy was a success. That you should vanquish the beast comes as little surprise, but that this occasion would serve as an impetus for the Church to embark upon a path of reform is incredible. I shall share these joyous tidings with our allies without delay. If I may speak candidly, I must confess to being a great admirer of yours. When you have a moment, I should like to hear about some of your adventures, if you would do me the honor. For the present, however, in my official capacity as the Ishgardian delegate, I offer you my humblest thanks for your immeasurable service to our nation. Aww. Cute. Well, that just leaves the tank and 2 DPS classes. We will get to that on Thursday. We have done 4 out of the 5 quests, so we are almost done with them. Sort of. There is no half of 5, so I'm going to say we're about halfway done. On Thursday, we'll be going through the melee and ranged DPS quests, and then on Friday, we will go through the final quest, which will be for the tank. And I think there is another little quest series after I complete all of them, though that may not appear until after I finish the MSQ. I'm not quite sure, but either way, we will be finishing the real quest this week. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. Thank you for those who are chatting with me. It's always lovely to chat with you guys. Thank you to everyone who watches the video afterward, and I will see you on Thursday for the next part of the road quests. Until then, bye!